because Cal is like, he sneaks over to his own house to like tend to the garden and take care of everything in the backyard without anybody knowing. And so while he's doing that, towards the end of the film, Julianne Moore's character Emily calls him and fakes that she pretends that the pilot light's out and she doesn't know how to do it. But it's he's like outside of the window watching her on her cell phone, not doing anything, and it's very clear that she's just calling him because she misses his voice and wants to like have an excuse to interact with them or whatever. So it's a very kind of touching thing right there that goes back and forth for a while.
Yeah, that's a really good scene. What did you think about Gosling's performance and someone we haven't even brought up, Emma Stone?
You already know how I feel about Ryan Gosling, man. He's great. What I loved about this is that before this, he really hadn't done much. Like, yeah, he's kind of quirky in The Notebook, I guess, if you want to argue. But he hadn't really at this point in 2011 done anything to show his acting chops as far as like being funny, you know, and just sharp and witty and just this massive charisma that he's capable of channeling. I guess it was very impressive, you know, especially when you're going from something like Drive, where it's very nuanced and very little dialogue and, you know, very art house. This is like his performance here as Jacob is like the complete opposite. And so it's funny to me that I feel like a lot of haters say that he doesn't really do anything. I feel like this performance in a lot of ways proves everybody wrong, in my opinion. And then like going on further down the line, he does the Nice Guys, where he even ups the ante even more, where it's like you know, a period piece on top of him being like just super silly for 2 hours, and it totally works, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But going back to his performance in this one, I really enjoyed it. I thought that his chemistry and the flow with him and Steve Carell was very organic. And then, like you said, let's talk about Emma Stone for a minute. This is I believe, the birth of, you know, them being on screen as a couple for the first time in this one. Very, very good chemistry between the two of them, even when they don't like each other or she doesn't like him at first. Very fun stuff. I thought Emma Stone was really good in this. I remember, I think Easy A had came out before this one, right?
Yeah.
I remember really, digging her in Easy A, and I felt like this was a great follow-up. And she's always fun to watch, you know what I mean? Like, I loved Cruella a lot more than I thought I was going to.
I like them both a lot. Like you said, they have great chemistry. Very, like you said, how Carell and Gosling it's very organic, and it doesn't feel fake at all. Like, it feels real.
Yeah.
Even when in the beginning, when they first meet, and then she kind of thinks he's this like kind of douchey guy at the bar, you get that feeling of realness. And that, just like you said, like Emma Stone, I mean, everything from, I think The Help came out the same year, actually, 2011. But everything from that to Zombieland, Easy A. I have yet to see Cruella, but yeah, no, she's great in everything she does, including this.
Definitely agree.
We haven't talked about how Josh Groban is randomly in it as
That's right.
as her like lawyer boyfriend, who's kind of bland, I would say.
Yeah, because
but he plays the part so well.
Oh man, Gosling's character Jacob sees Emma Stone's character Hannah in the same club as that Cal's at before he meets Cal. So it's Hannah and her friend kind of shooting the shit, and her friends giving Hannah's friends giving her shit about having like this like very PG-13 life, and she doesn't take any risks, and you know she hasn't really experienced much and all this kind of stuff. And then Jacob comes out of nowhere and hits on her, and she totally kind of blows him off, like, yeah, like who the fuck do you think you are type of, you know, vibe towards him. And they kind of go back and forth, and it's charming or whatever, but nothing ever comes from it. So Hannah leaves the bar or whatever, and then later on when she's talking to her friend again, she's basically hoping, or she's thinking that like her boyfriend or partner is going to propose, because he keeps saying like, oh, we have this, you know, on this date there's going to be this big surprise for you, Hannah, you're going to love it, da 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 da. So she gets her hopes set high for the fact that he might propose, or she thinks that he's going to, right? So then she passes her bar exam, and they're at the party, and then her boyfriend or whatever is just like, oh, so we want to offer you a spot. Like we said, if you pass the bar, that we would offer you a spot at our firm. So congratulations or whatever. And that was his big surprise, which is, it feels like really douchey the way that he does it too. And then she doesn't know how to react, and she's very kind of frazzled, and she's like, you know what? I thought that you were going to propose for some reason. You know what I mean? Like, at least trying to drop a hint to him. And he's like, oh, well, I need to take some time to think about us long term. And the way that he... Oh, God. There's red flags everywhere. So she's like, oh, yeah. And then she just fucking loses it. And she, like, slams some, like a straight gin drink. And she, you know, basically tells him to fuck off and leave. And so she goes back to the bar in hopes of finding Gosling's character, Jacob, which she does. And they hit it off, and she's like, hey, do you still think I'm attractive? He goes, yes. Do you still want to take me home? He goes, yes. So then they go back to Jacob Gosling's apartment somewhere in LA. Beautiful fucking apartment, by the way. Holy shit. It's like just glass everywhere. And it's just him. It's like this big ass house. What a bachelor pad that is, dude. But yeah, so they go back, and Hannah's like super awkward with him. She doesn't even know his name yet. She's just like, walk me through like everything you do, you know, like to get girls to hook up with you, you know. And it ends up coming to the fact that he's like, I put on the track from Dirty Dancing, and we do the move, and then, you know, girls want to sleep with me after that. I know it's silly, it's stupid, but it works. So then she's like, all right, good thing that I'm drunk, we'll try this out or whatever. So then they do it, and then they go to the bedroom or whatever, and have fun. But then even after, I feel they just stay up like all night, where it's very clear that they have better chemistry than just like a one night stand type deal, where they're just like interested in learning more about each other, and you know, it takes them a while to even fall asleep. So Gosling's character Jacob stops going to the club because he's no longer interested in just like picking up random women, and so he disappears off of Cal's radar as well. And then we find out that towards the end of the film that Hannah is Cal's first daughter, who he had at 17. I think he says like 17 years old, which is why him and his wife Emily got married so early on, and that explains why Hannah's already an adult in her like mid 20s. But that was a fucking crazy twist.
That whole scene is just so chaotic. All this shit, all these different things happen, and then with that twist, the first time I saw it, I was like, "What? Like shit!" Like, and they were, they kind of they don't hint at it at all. Like they just, it flips back and forth to Emma Stone, and you think that, it's just because they're showing, Hannah and Jacob's relationship and how it's starting, and then at the end you find out that it's their daughter, and Steve Carell is her dad, and madness ensues.
Yeah, because for Cal, Steve Carell's character he gets really upset when he figures out that Hannah's new boyfriend is his friend Jacob, because he's seen how Jacob is with women and what he's capable of. So for a while he really doesn't want to give him his approval, which I feel like Jacob is really gets really bummed about, understandably, because it was like that was his close friend. You know what I mean?
That whole scene, like they're there because he's like, Steve Carell is surprising his wife Emily with like a reenactment of their first date, right?
Yes.
Like he built like a little miniature golf course and everything, and she's there, and he has no idea that Hannah, Emma Stone's character, is coming over so Jacob, Ryan Gosling, can meet the mom for the first time, and then they don't have any clue that Steve Carell's there doing this thing, and they walk into it, and that happens, and then his friend, right, is the babysitter, Jess's father, who conveniently at the same time he figures out that, or he assumes that Cal is like being having predatory behavior towards their daughter. So in his mind, he's like, I'm gonna go fuck this guy up, right? So the mom finds the pictures, I think.
Yes. So he finds everything out of context because it's just in an envelope with Cal written on the envelope, and in their mind they think that they have something going on, justifiably. Which in reality, Cal has no idea. Like that's the furthest thing in his mind, So he's really confused too, and Jess is scrambling over there to kind of fix this misunderstanding, because it's really just her kind of crush or obsession, however you want to say it, going too far. You know what I mean? Where her parents think that they have something going on, but they really don't. So then the dad goes over there and bursts in the party. So then you already have this conflict with Cal realizing that Hannah is dating like his close friend in Jacob. He's not excited about that. And then Jess's father shows up and starts basically manhandling Cal because he thinks that he's been potentially molesting his 17-year-old daughter. And then you have Kevin Bacon, who shows up too, David Lindhagen. When Lindhagen shows up, then Jacob is like, "Oh, you're David Lindhagen," and he takes off his ring and just fucking decks him in the face, and he's like, "You're the one who messed up my friend's marriage." So then they all start fighting with each other over these different problems that are completely out of context. So it's a great kind of conclusion, kind of to the story, where all of these threads are kind of intertwining for the first time, and it's masterfully done, dude. The party, or whatever you want to call it, ends, and nothing is really resolved there. So Jess, the babysitter, admits like he didn't know anything, it was just me. So then her dad is embarrassed and they go home. Cal refuses to approve of Hannah and Jacob's relationship, so they leave. And then Cal, being upset the way that he is, he's just like, he tells Emily, like his wife, he looks over at David and he's like, you can have her or whatever. So we're led to believe that he's kind of given up, and then he goes up to his son